all things come to an end sometime, right? Hi, I'm Amy. Welcome back to Hummingbird Hill, and as you heard, it is time for the hay bale end of the garden to end. It has been an interesting year here on Hummingbird Hill as far as gardening goes in general, but I have learned so much from gardening in the hay bales for the first time. And I'm gonna actually do two videos because this will probably end up being too long. So these are my last two videos for the hay bale, well, straw bale, because I'm the only one with hay bales, garden collaboration of 2019. And it has been so exciting to be a part of this collaboration and watch the progress of other gardens around the United States. People have had to deal with extreme weather, from rain, from incredibly high winds and heat, to having to move their whole straw bale garden from one location to another and having it survive. That is pretty amazing. I'm not sure there's another type of gardening that you can make that work with. So I thought before I start ripping things out, we'll do a quick tour and see why I need to start ripping things out and just take a look at the garden as a whole. Talk a little bit about the progress this year and how the garden has looked. And then I'll let you know if I'm actually gonna do this kind of gardening ever again. So let me flip you around and let's take a look at how the hay bales are doing. So we have recently just had 3 days of rain, which did not do so well for the plants. Before that, the weather was very strange. It has been all summer. You've heard me say that. You've heard other people. This cabbage was doing beautifully and finally starting to form a head, but the 3 days of rain, as you can see, it's just got powdery all over. My Tiny Tim tomatoes were doing beautifully, still are doing pretty well, but the rain was not their favorite thing. And there's a donkey breathing on me. Hi, Tazaru. Yes, we're talking about the garden right now, not you, sweet boy. Jack, I love you too, but no. You kiss her face. You cannot eat the camera. All right. So this cabbage, unfortunately, I just kind of was seeing what happened with it. I've never grown this kind of cabbage before. And I threw these in because I got them on clearance after some seeds I planted didn't work out. The red kale, same thing, is gorgeous, but this just totally needs to be pulled. Most of this row here is going to be pulled out. This one definitely needs to come out. I've been picking, oh, look at the water in there. Isn't that gorgeous? I love water in plants. Anyway, that's just pretty. But I didn't pick enough of the kale. Kale is such a good idea, and I love it when I pick it and grow it. I just forget to do it. The other cabbages that we have in here, these bales totally collapsed during the rain. So they went over. I've pulled a couple. That one's actually growing down there, which is so interesting. That cabbage just kind of took a dive off the hay bale and is growing right down there. That's interesting. Like I said, I do have a lot of grasses. So with the hay bale, these were my hay bales left over from 2 years ago that we had stored and didn't use to feed the animals. Someone was supposed to buy them and pick them up and never did. So then I've been using them for weed control this year, and then also I decided to put the last ones to use for the bale garden. So there are a bunch of grasses in here, and I was not as diligent as I could have been about pulling those grasses because, yeah, weeding's not my best thing. I'm still being followed by donkey. The marigolds, love that the cabbage has kind of died down and the squash has died down. This was my giant little buttercup squash from Baker Creek, and I picked probably 6 or 7 squash off this one plant, and I would have had more because it was growing down there, but the donkeys finally did discover it and eat that part. Unfortunately, I cut it off right there so they didn't pull the whole plant. Look at the size of this marigold though, it's amazing. Now my zucchini in here, this is where I'm going to come in and do some trimming on the back. I'm probably going to leave these in for a while. We're supposed to have a week of rain. And as you can see, these had no powdery mildew on them before the last 3 days of rain, so I'm not sure how they're going to do. I still have some nice strong growth points here with the leaves looking just fine, so I figure if I pull off the back leaves, I may still get some zucchini out of these. Usually I get zucchini and tomatoes through October. Again, this is not a usual year. So yeah, this whole corner is zucchini and squash. Gonna do some trimming. I'm gonna leave the marigolds for right now. We'll see how this goes. Over here, the Thunbergia is still looking beautiful and the beans are still growing some. I'm gonna pick a bunch tonight and tomorrow when I pull things, just in case. Again, they've turned really yellow down here at the bottom, but we'll see how they do with the rain. Beans may still survive and give me some more beans, even though they've slowed down a ton. And again, these are the beans that I planted in April. So this is not my second crop of beans, which is bizarre. It is still my first crop of beans. Over here, I've got a lemon cucumber that's probably gonna need to come out. It's looking pretty bad after the rains. We'll see. I may trim back a bunch of stuff and see what happens. I need to pull the kale over there. Again, those are plants I got on clearance and I popped in and they were beautiful, but they need to go. I still have potatoes down here between the rows, my rogue potatoes that need harvested. So I'm gonna start digging some of those up because I don't want them to rot in the rain. As long as I have rogue potatoes, I wanna eat the rogue potatoes. There's a little potato cucumber and a bait alpha cucumber over here that have kind of stopped producing. I got a goodly number of cucumbers off them, but actually I didn't get a goodly number. I only got about 10 cucumbers off each vine, which is odd. But again, with the weather, they did not start producing. I didn't get my first cucumbers until August, and that's just strange. You've heard me say it, I'll say it again. This was my lettuce bale, which I let my lettuces go to seed, and the Merlot lettuce has beautiful seed heads and flowers. I need to harvest those, get some seeds out of them, see how that does. I have some Iraq that's gone to seed, and I have a fine crop of grass. This is my rogue tomato that, as you can see, has grown up over the arch, and these are, as I suspected they would be, the sun golds. And again, I've never really planted a successful sun gold down on this end of the garden, but somehow something got down here and is making itself mighty at home. I cannot wait. Okay, hold on. Don't let me get ahead of myself. Let's look at the beans first. So I've got a bunch of beans that I'm going to be gathering for seeds. These are my Aunt Susie's beans. I got them from her. I still can't remember what they are called. I need to get the official name, but I've got a bunch of seed pods, and I'll tell you where I'm going to put those to use coming up. So this is the section I am so excited to dig into tomorrow. And I don't know if it's ready, but it's just going to happen. I'm probably going to end up pulling this tomato. I hope I don't disturb it too much, but if I do, I do, because it wasn't really invited. Oh my gosh. Look at this sucker. That sucker is 5 feet long. That's why I gotta prune tomatoes. But my sweet potatoes are somewhere in here that I planted and I want to get. Along with that are rogue red potatoes. I have harvested a couple that I found when I was pulling up some kohlrabi. I do still have a couple kohlrabi in here, which I'll pull up, and I have another bean vine over here. But I really want to get this section dug up before those potatoes start rotting, because it's, you know, gonna rain for over a week. At least that's what it says. Oh, look at that poor acorn squash plant. I need to harvest my acorn squash. Again, that was beautiful, healthy, gigantic until the 3 days of rain, and now powdery mildew is in full effect. I may try trimming some of it off and seeing if it will still grow, but I don't know that it's really necessary. There are a number of good fruits on there that I'll harvest. Chinese pink celery. When Chinese pink celery goes to seed, it gets insane. It was about 4.5 feet tall until the last rains, and then some branches broke over here. But I'll probably be cutting that all back, gathering some seeds from that, seeing what else I can gather from here. I'm gonna try and keep this tomato going, but don't know if I'll make it. There are still some cucumbers here, so I will harvest a bunch tomorrow. And I may not pull all my cucumber plants. This is another cucumber in here. Look at that beautiful lemon cucumber. They're so tasty. So that's lemon cucumber that I will probably leave. I should have some borlotti beans down in here. Hopefully they didn't get too sopping wet during the rains. The marigolds are super happy right now. This is the happiest this one's been all season. And this is sweet potato vine mostly. Most of the potato vines in here have died back. You can see this is one here. And the bugs. Definitely have to figure out bug issues next year. This is my spaghetti squash vine, and I've picked 2, 3, 4 giant, like 5-pound spaghetti squashes, like huge, bigger spaghetti squashes. They haven't gotten super yellow, but I think it's just the positioning. So I'm probably gonna pull most of these because it is dying back with the mildew. I still have, this is the cabbage that has come back, and there was a little mousey down here the last time I filmed, but this is a cabbage that's coming back with 2 heads from when I pulled one. I'm really tempted to leave that because it's actually looking pretty good right now, except for some of the leaves on the edges. Those were great cabbages. Oh, I've got some beans flowering. These are the dragon tongue bush beans. Most of these I kind of let go so I can get some seed beans from them, but I need to pull most of them. Look at their gorgeous beans back there. Hold on, I don't know if we can get in there and see from this angle. Look at those pretty bean pods and some dead leaves. But so a lot of this is going to come out tomorrow, depending on how I do. My eggplants, low power mode. My eggplants still have some growing on them, but they have really slowed down. This one over here has a couple for me to pick and grill or stir fry, so that'll be good. This is the Brad's Atomic Grape. None of them over here have gotten ripe, so I may try and leave that plant. It's not as distressed as some of the tomato plants, and I think if I trim some of the stuff around it, it'll be good. This Thunbergia, I got it and it was grown in an arch shape, and I tried to separate it and get it to grow up, and it is finally starting to take up over the trellis. So I'll probably leave that along with all the grasses. Look at those borlotti beans. Oh, so good. Nummy beans. All right. Oh, look. I do have a couple more cucumbers to come pick. Oh, I love those. These are so good. The bait alphas are, no. Yeah, these are bait alphas. Yeah, the Bonnie Best are the tomatoes. These are super tasty. I was glad I grew those this year. So zucchini plant, starting to get some mildew on these leaves, but I do have fresh growth coming up. So, oh, and I have a nice chunky zucchini down there that I need to get before it gets too big on me. This is great. The zucchinis have done super well in this bale. This bale, not as much. They've still produced, but they had more problem with blossom end rot. I did give them some calcium at some point, but I think I'll probably end up pulling this plant tomorrow. Even though, oh well, look, maybe, I don't know. It's so hard to decide when it's time to pull things. More potatoes. The ground cherries are amazing and delicious, and they're growing all throughout here. They've been doing a really good job. So I'll probably try and leave this plant intact. Let's see. Growing back in here now. There's some acorn squash back over in there. But this is, oh, I have a pepper. I have one ripe pepper. Oh my gosh. This is my first and only maybe pepper. I'm gonna pick that. I think, oh, I don't know. It's not, oh, it's got a bug hole. Okay, I'm gonna pick it. It's got a bug hole, look. These are maybe Jimmy Nardello's. But look at that, I didn't think I was gonna get any peppers this year. I mean, peppers are always a little risky, but, and I don't know if I should have picked that one yet, but it's got some bug eating it, so I figure I might as well. These, I don't know. I was gonna pull these all, and I don't think they're gonna make it through. Oh, well, and notice the grass. I just kind of gave up on them and let them go. But I don't know, I might leave them, at least for a week, and we'll see how they do. I have another broccoli head to pick, and I forgot to pick this. Sadly, this is the one that's been growing since April. It finally came to a head. This one is making a head right now. So funny. So I don't know. I'm gonna harvest this one. I should have picked it 2 nights ago before the rain came back, but I forgot because I got attacked by the bugs, the bees, the wasps over there. I was trying to pick some grapes, and they were not happy with me picking my own grapes. Arrgh. So I forgot to pick my broccoli. So I do have more broccoli coming, and then these little florets I just love to pick and keep picking all summer. And that usually is what happens with my broccoli. I'm pretty good at keeping broccoli for a whole season just by picking off the small florets. And it hasn't gotten super hot. I mean, it's been hot. Oh, now look. See, that's why I need to pull stuff. Just because of the, oh, I don't know if that one's good back there. This one was just starting to grow. So I had it here. Oh, it broke off the vine, it looks like. My mom might have done that. She came out to pick things when she, oh, look, that's gross. Okay, well, ew. So that one got broken off the vine. It might have been chickens, but my guess is it's my mom. She came out to try and pick grapes, and she, you know, probably shouldn't have, given the fact that she can't walk terribly well, but she did. All right, so got a pepper, picked up poor spaghetti squash that got knocked off vine, which is why it was rotten. The rest of them are fine, it looks like, because they're still on the vine. I'll need to go down here and check. Oh, hello. It's gorgeous out right now. It rained all morning. And it looks like this. So this is the state of the hay bale garden. Really, the goal tomorrow is to get this dug out, see if I have any sweet potatoes, see if I have potatoes, to try and get some of the, ooh, there's an interesting mushroom over there. Try to get some of the powdery mildew spots trimmed up. And then I might leave some things. I'm probably gonna end up pulling the spaghetti squash, or at least most of the middle sections that are super mildewy. I'm gonna leave, I need to pick this tonight. See, look, there's another. Well, good job, peppers. And despite your poor growing situation, not bad. All right. Oh, the other hay bale. I always forget this hay bale, and I should not forget it, because it is totally a hay bale. There's two of them. Let's go over here real quick, and I'll get my basket. But these two hay bales have grown the crown of thorns, and the crown of thorns plant here, I cut down a whole bunch in the middle that was starting to get super mildewy. Got a fine collection of spider webs back there. But these are super cool. I've got a bunch of these to pick, and as far as I know, they are not edible, but they'll be great Halloween decor, Thanksgiving decor. They're growing out the fence in 3 different directions, but because when these died back, I had flowers start to come up. So I had planted these before, and there's some back there that probably won't make it. But so I've got a few little flowers here. These 2 bales have been the most neglected, just because I keep forgetting they're over here. I do water them, but not as much as the other bales. So, hold on, let me flip you around. So that was it. The hay bales have done such a good job this season in things that I didn't think would last this long. They've put up with the crazy weather. They've produced, even though they've struggled. At the start, the balancing wasn't right with the fertilizers. There was so much rain when they were first conditioned that I couldn't plant right away. That created some issues. But the hay bales have persevered. And despite the fact that I let the grass grow a lot, that's my error, not really the bales, I have been so pleased with the progress of the hay bales. And I'm gonna cut this video here because tomorrow I'm gonna get in here and dig stuff out, and I'm just gonna put the camera up and do a whole montage thing, and then we'll talk about, there's a frog somewhere. I love frogs in the garden. Do you hear it? It's in the little square right over there with the sweet potatoes and potatoes. So fun. Love frogs, they're so cute. I always used to raise tadpoles as science experiments. Super easy to do, teachers loved it. If you have a kid who needs a science experiment, get some tadpoles, raise them. Easy peasy. They just have to chart like the progress and growth and draw cute little kid pictures. Super easy. Okay, they might want computer stuff nowadays because they're all newfangled and such. But anyway, so I have been really excited about what I've learned through the hay bales. So there's a bug or something down there making, like there's a clicking noise. Huh. I'm gonna go see what that is after I say goodbye to you. Anyway, so tomorrow, just gonna be working, not a lot of talking. I'll say hello, I'll say goodbye, I'll show you what the garden looks like, and then we'll just kind of do a little retrospective looking at the garden where it started and where it ended. So I hope that you've enjoyed being a part of the hay bale process this summer. If you have, could you leave me a comment down below? It really means a ton if you do that and like the video. It helps YouTube algorithms, and yeah, it just helps invite other people into the garden. So that would be awesome if you're a person who's enjoyed spending some time here this summer, if you could remember to do that. Oh, chicken, you see these chickens. I'm gonna see where they get in, because right now, hold on. This is not a planned part of this, but I got chickens over here. You see those little nuts? All right. I don't know if you could see that, so I may end up cutting that part out, but chickens, those little rascals. I gotta go shut the front gate. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you'll come back to see what the garden looks like when it's being broken down, and that you'll check in on what else is going on in the garden for the rest of the year. I've got some things that I need to get done with all of the garden before October so I can plant some garlic. Wish me luck. I will see you in my next video when we are breaking down the hay bales, or at least part of them, because I don't know exactly what to leave right now. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. See you later.